Hi, Bree.
Hey,
I was hoping that I could do a little prayer before we get started.
I would love that.
Awesome. So, Holy Spirit, I just invite you into this space. First, I'd like to ask you to just create the safety to be seen, Lord. One of the things that I think is important for DV survivors and victims of DV is they're afraid to be seen. They're afraid to be heard because every time that they have tried to be seen or heard, somebody has casted them out, made them feel they don't belong, or just has silenced them. So that's what I'm asking of the Holy Spirit is that they cover us in protection and peace, and that your message gets through and that it is safe to be seen. And I ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you so much.
And you're welcome. And I should also have a disclaimer.
Go ahead.
I will still be a little crass and a little
Human.
Yeah, human.
Yeah.
I consider myself a holy misfit. So that means that I'm just authentically myself. So, and whatever comes out of that comes out of that.
There you go.
So
I love it. Well, I think you have met Sylvie, not formally, but through that prayer. Hopefully, you got a vibe for what I think Sylvie and I have talked about what we want this episode to be about and kind of like the energy we want episode 41 to be. And it's really about authenticity, safety, and I think we're going to get into this about learning and telling the stories about how you and how we can all learn to laugh in the places that we've cried.
yes, amen.
Amen. Yeah. So with that, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the podcast for my friends and family and a couple of fans out there. You know what the podcast is about, but if this is your first time, I'm sure many of Sylvie's family and friends will be cheering her on.
Yes.
This podcast is called Adventures in Adversity, and it is an inspirational podcast, is what I call it. And really, it's been a compilation of stories from friends, family, friends of friends, new friends who have one thing in common, and that is they have gone through adversity in life. And so, with that, I would like you to meet again Sylvie. And I'll just kind of tell the audience how we met.
Okay.
Was it a few months ago?
Yeah,
a couple months ago. We met at a Wisdom, Wealth, Wellbeing community event, right?
Yes.
I was a speaker there telling my story for the first time. So I was like very nervous and kind of hoping for safety and not knowing how it would be received. But ultimately, through telling my story, I realized the beauty in being authentically yourself and talking about all the stuff that's maybe not the most amazing in your life, but has like led you to become who you are, right?
That is correct.
Like the transformation. So we met 3WB event, saw you at another event following that. And I remember I recognized your fabulous glasses. If you've already seen them. And then we got coffee.
Yeah.
And then we got lunch. And then here we are. And Sylvie, I first want to tell you the reason why I was sort of like drawn to you is because of your energy.
Thank you.
And the way that your energy that you put off is like welcoming, your smile. And little did I know that like behind that, again, I'm always surprised at like how much you've been through, right? Because you radiate such positivity that we just never know like what adversity lies underneath somebody, right?
This is so true.
Yeah. So I just would love for you to introduce yourself and kind of like, we'll just start talking.
Okay.
Because, I'm a talker.
Yeah.
We know this.
I like the posture.
But yeah, just kind of moving. Tell me about where you're at in life. And like, you said that beautiful prayer. I'm sure that there's been a lot of events in life that have gotten you to this place where you like are just welcoming the Holy Spirit, feeling like you're ready to be authentic. I'm just babbling. So let's just start talking. Here I am.
Yeah, so I am a survivor of narcissistic abuse from an intimate partner. And it has been going on for, 8 years. But it doesn't have a hold on how I control my posturing, which is a good word,
Mm,
right? My presence. I've had to fight really hard for the joy that you see today and the person that you've met, but the authenticity is something that's always been with me.
mm,
It's just something that I think I've hidden for other people's comfort for most of my life. So being too authentic creates, I think, barriers to relationships sometimes,
mm.
because people come with their stuff, right? And they don't always want to see their stuff. So my authenticity sometimes, I think, brings that out. And therefore, some of my relationships have been, difficult to say the least.
Sure.
But on the other end of the spectrum, I have these amazing, wonderful friendships
Yeah.
and people that I've had in my life. So it's not just, continuous adversity. It's just, you know, I do face some things, but I think it's made me a better person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and thank you for being so candid and open about like being a survivor of, you say DV, domestic abuse, domestic violence, domestic abuse, and narcissistic abuse.
Yes.
That's something that I think is very, once you go through that, it's soul changing, life changing beyond, right?
Absolutely.
And what I think is amazing, and we'll go all over the place, we'll unpack your story, but at a high level, getting through that and getting to the place where you are now, you've also turned that healing into advocacy.
Absolutely. Yep.
So
So
tell me a little bit about that, and then we'll kind of go all over.
yeah, so how that was birthed was going through the family court system and seeing so many people going through the same exact copy and paste behavior that I was going through. It just like sparked something in me that I was like, I have to get out there and do something. Even though I was in the midst of my own pain,
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like I had to go do something. And so I reached out to a domestic violence shelter, and I just said, I'll just go like stock the shelves in the pantry. And God kind of laughed, and he's like, sure, whatever makes you comfortable. And God has a good way of taking you out of your comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
and placing you exactly where the discomfort is so that you can grow. um and so I got to the domestic violence shelter, and they said, oh, I see on your intake sheet that you've done classes before, you've taught, because I did, in corporate world, I've taught some classes and stuff for real estate agents.
Okay.
Anyway, so they said, would you be interested in teaching a class to some women at the shelter? And they said it would be about self-esteem. So I was like, sure, I've got this. I can teach about self-esteem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Sure.
And then I think the day before I got there to teach the self-esteem class, joke was on me. God said, oh, no, you're going to teach an anger management class and a forgiveness class. And so the anger management class that I taught, I think I taught it maybe 8 times, a series of 8 times to 8 different groups of women at the shelter. And I got to tell you, he worked through me every single one of those times. So every time that I was ministering or,
Mm-hmm.
to other women, I was also ministering to myself and healing myself. And I think that going through those classes just taught me so much about self regulation, less about like
Mm-hmm.
anger management, because, we can go into a whole nother topic about how women are so angry and emotional. But
Yes. I've never had an emotion in my life.
right.
Nope.
But it was more about self-regulating, which taught me so much about going through the family court system, because especially as a woman, sometimes the odds are stacked against women as well in the family court system, unfortunately. And you do have to learn how to regulate even just how you present. You can't look to this, to that. You can't breathe too much. You can't.
When you come to court.
Yeah, yeah, because you will be judged on how you're presenting yourself. So you can't be too emotional. So that goes back to the prayer I said at the beginning. Make it a safe place to be seen and heard, right? So, because for people who have survived any type of abuse, being seen is, or exposed is, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like, It's like being naked in a crowd of people. And you didn't work out.
Yeah.
You, you didn't do your squats.
Like, I didn't even know that I was going to be naked today. So you were basically going through your own healing from narcissistic abuse and domestic abuse while helping these women at this domestic shelter, domestic violence shelter. And that's here locally.
Yes, yes.
So who knew? There's domestic violence shelters just all everywhere. It's not just something that happens in the inner cities. And,
not at all.
And I'm saying this so that people realize that this happens everywhere.
Yes, I think there's a misconception that it is an inner city or like a different demographic of people that it happens to, but that is the biggest misconception. It happens everywhere to anyone. It happens to men. It happens to, that's another population that we don't talk about. Because they don't come forward because of, ego or pride, or it's just not manly, quote unquote. So yeah, it happens to everyone everywhere. And sometimes the more affluent the area, it's just a secret. That's all it is. And maybe that's why that word I'm using, exposed, can work both ways, right? Like they're exposed, the abuser, and then the victim could be exposed. And if you're living in a lifestyle of how does it look, perception, that's going to be a problem.
That is, abuse will not be, that is not a topic for any conversation.
It's going to tarnish your reputation.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. And
that has led me to have been feeling like isolated or left out or maybe not belonging or whatever, because I have been outspoken, and being outspoken about something that other people want you to not speak about will create you being kind of ostracized from the community. And that was hard to take when you're looking for help and you're looking for people to like bond with in a vulnerable state, and then have the extra layer of like, well, that doesn't really look good for our country club.
And you're like, I'm never going to tell you anything.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. It didn't feel like a safe place. So lessons learned along the way, I stopped telling my story to anybody and, everybody. And I started telling it to the people that needed to hear it, the people that have been through it, the people that are like, what's it like to, lean in. And so I create that safe space as a vessel. It's not me, but as a vessel.
Sure.
Okay. I create that safe space for other survivors of abuse to feel like I'm seen and heard. We keep coming back to seen and heard.
Because abusers of any kind, right? Whether it's in the workplace, in the home, in friendships, in romantic relationships, they don't want you to talk about it.
They want it a secret, right?
Because you might be the only one getting it.
Yeah. Because if it's hidden, well, they know it's wrong. Okay. There's this question of like, do they know it's wrong? Well, if they have to hide it, they know on some level it's wrong. Whether they're conscious of it or not, they know it's wrong because it's hidden. It's a secret. It's, they don't want to be exposed. So doesn't that tell you right then and there? Because integrity, it doesn't matter about being exposed.
You act the same no matter what. Behind closed doors, at work, with the moms, with the kids, you're the same.
Yeah.
Abusers aren't the same.
No.
In every setting.
No, they're not.
They save the good stuff just for targets. Yeah.
But they're not. You're right. So that's another way you can say, like, do they know what they're doing? Because they know when to do it. They're not doing it outside when everybody can see it, right? They're doing it inside. And it's insidious. It happens slowly. So there's a big question of like, why doesn't she leave? Why doesn't he leave? Well, if it's insidious, well, first of all, if you've never lived it, you can't really tell a survivor how to do it. Okay. There's number one. Number two, like if it's insidious and it happens slowly, like water on a rock, like every day creating a,
just little
like
things.
Little by little, like how, and you've never lived something like that in your life. How would you know that's abuse? Or what if it's the familiarity of that's something that you grew up with? What if it's something that this is how your mom or dad loved you, and so you mistake this for love too? So hush on the people that say like, why didn't they leave? For me, it's like, God bless that you've never had to live through something as horrible as abuse. And you should be so thankful because
Thankful that you don't understand.
yeah, because it
You
takes
don't want
out
to
your
understand.
no, it takes out your mental health, it takes out your physical health, it takes out your friends, your circle of people that you think are. I mean, like,
Because
it's
you're isolated.
right,
And then when you talk about it, then some people don't want to hear about it.
right. It's a complete devastation of what you know life to be, and then you got to crawl out of that devastation. Okay, you got to crawl out of it, and then you've got to fight for every piece of joy, health, mental, psychological, physical. Like, yeah, you got to crawl out of it.
Mm.
Yeah, and not everybody can. And so I think part of the reason why I feel so like in like what's the word I'm looking for? Like I just feel like called, very thank
You feel
you,
called.
is to go back and help the people that are crawling because I crawled and I needed people. And God bless my family, they were there, but and I had friends that were there, but I mean,
You gotta crawl.
you need a lot of people to get you out of that. You know what I mean? It's not just one person here and there. Like you need a community of people. And so that's my vision is, you know, to create a authentic like community of people that go back for the people who are crawling out of abusive situations. Yeah. That's my heart.
And that's if you haven't noticed, this is why I had her on the podcast. And we can be done. No. It's just that it's so beautiful to hear because I know your energy right now. And obviously I didn't know you when you were crawling out.
No.
And so I was drawn to you because there's this like strength about you, but also this sort of like kindness in your eyes where it's like a knowing of like what it took you to get here.
Yeah.
So if someone listening right now is going, oh, like abuse is kind of a big word. Like what have you learned through your own life, through working at the domestic shelter? Like what does abuse mean to you? And like when did you start realizing like, maybe this isn't right? Do you remember?
Oh
Or
yeah.
like, how do you know?
Absolutely. I think in the intimate partner situation, what was happening was there was always something I was like, this doesn't feel right. There was an instinct, an intuition that I wasn't listening to in the pit of my stomach. And you may feel it in other parts of your body. Some people can feel it in their chest, like a panic attack. You can feel it in your shoulders. And you'll always, my rule of thumb is how does your body feel around a person or a situation? Your heart's going to want to see the best in them and your mind's going to want to talk you out of what you're feeling, but the body never lies. So if you feel it somewhere in the body, like you need to pay attention to that. That's what's going to alert you to this isn't a healthy situation for me. So in the intimate partner, it was just like there was something telling me this wasn't right, and then you start paying attention to the clues. um and then I think what really set it over the edge was I went to therapy for the relationship with the person.
Sure.
But then the person was like, I don't need therapy, because we usually go to therapy for the person who really needs the therapy. So anyways, I ended up still going to therapy, and I started learning about narcissistic abuse. And I mean, I didn't name it that at the time, but I started getting a literal like street PhD in narcissistic.
Once you see it, you're like, what?
Yeah. But then the beauty of that was then I started healing what was happening with me that attracted, not that it's your fault. I don't want anybody to feel like it's your fault that the abuse happens, but there's something that needs healing, usually from a childhood situation, that this encounter comes up again in your life for you to break the cycle. So my responsibility was, how am I going to break the cycle? It wasn't, why did the abuse happen to me? That's their stuff. But it was like, how do I break the cycle? So that's how it started.
And so the therapy kind of was beginning to pull, like educating yourself. And obviously you're somebody who wants to work on themselves, you're self-aware.
Very. Too self-aware.
Yeah. I'm a very aware person. I'm aware of everything.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not helpful.
No, and then you go down the rabbit hole. But what I've learned through my own experience, through reading, through therapy, through other guests as well, and I think you actually posted something that reminded me, people, I didn't mean good, people who want to evolve and heal will take a look at themselves.
Yep.
Even if it sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy going, let's look at myself and like all my shit.
Yeah.
But it's great when someone is like, I can try to do that. Abusers typically don't really want to do that.
Yeah, you can always tell, if there's some toxicity in a relationship by how are they showing up to fix things. So like if they're showing up saying there's nothing wrong with themselves and there's nothing they need to fix, then that is a clue that you're not dealing with somebody who is like self-aware or healthy, right? Yeah. Another thing is boundaries. How are they reacting when you have boundaries? If a healthy person will be like, well, that might hurt me to hear that you want to be by yourself. You know what I mean? And eat your snacks and watch your own shows without me. But a healthy partner or, friend will be like, but I get it. That's how you recharge. And like, can I get you your favorite snack?
It's not an attack on them.
Correct. They don't take it as an attack, or worse than an attack on them, they make it so you don't get to do the thing that you're asserting your boundary on. So asserting boundaries or having a boundary, if their reaction is negative or selfish, then
it's a red flag.
It's a huge red flag. Yep. So saying no reveals. Yep.
With intimate partner, family, friends, anything, right? Where if you're like work, if you're like, hey, and not to minimize, like I know there's a lot of serious situations we can talk about here, but even just in general, like when you're talking to a friend and you're like, hey, listen, I know we're supposed to go out. I'm like, I just really need a night in. Like, I just gotta like,
yeah.
And if a friend like gets mad at you,
yes,
you're like, oh shit.
I mean, barring this isn't like a very big event that they were expecting. Like,
but if it's like, hey, we were just going for a walk or something, and they're like, well, why are you always like?
That's different.
It's just like, hey, I get it. Like, totally.
Yeah.
It's giving like friendships and relationships like the freedom to have that space.
Absolutely.
You don't have to like possess them.
Yeah. And if you're a healthy person, you'll be like, I really wanted to see you, but I honor that you need to do that for yourself. Let's reconnect when you have filled your own cup. That's the other thing. You got to go from your overflow. You cannot give to other people out of a deficit. So you need to give from your overflow. And healthy people understand because they're
working on the same thing.
Yes. They're recharging themselves however that looks for them.
Yeah.
And so they can give from the overflow. And that's not selfish. Selfish people,
no.
that's, it's just not selfish.
It's just self-care.
It is.
It's literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. Because I feel like every time I spend time with you, I'm just like having all these insights about myself. Because again, you create this like space of room to have all these realizations.
Yeah.
And then as I'm having them, you're just like, yep, been there. I get it,
Yeah.
So tell me about, because I think this is such a unique experience. And then I want to circle back into your own personal experience, but we'll get there. Tell me about, is there any stories or any moments you remember from what was it like working at a place like a domestic violence shelter? Is that the right terminology? Mm-hmm. Who goes there? Why do they exist? Again, for people kind of learning about this. And how did that kind of influence how you handle your own adversity and healing?
Yeah, so there's different levels. There's 1-800 numbers you can call.
Okay.
You can call like if I need a resource right then and there, I need to get out right then and there. Then there's shelters where you can come an emergency situation and stay. They have a time limit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The shelter I worked at was you had to I think, go through an interview process and, be vetted to stay, because it was a program you were going to go through, like an 18-month program.
Ooh.
So there's different levels.
Yeah,
and
sure.
then there's all sorts of resources on the web. Like I worked, I volunteered at Stand Up Survivor, amazing place.
Stand Up Survivor.
And, they offer all sorts of resources for, like 6-week courses on, healing yourself, growth mindset, things like that. So there's all sorts of levels to it. So you can do it out of the discretion of your own home, or if you are in an emergency situation, there are places that have emergency resources for you, your children. And there are some men's shelters too, but they're more towards other areas, not as close to here.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a sign from God that we're on the right track.
Okay,
good. So, and again, as you're saying this, I'm visualizing men, women, and children like at this point in their life where they're like,
I think so. Is that mine or yours?
I don't think it's mine. Is it? I'm not sure. It's okay. We'll just push pause on that. Okay. It's not a live recording, so we're okay. Is it? It could be mine. It's okay. Oh, that's totally acceptable.
Hi, you okay? Hi, baby. I love it. Thank you, baby. You're so pretty too.
Aww.
Well, enjoy your camping. You get to go camping. Be safe, okay? No, I'm not. I'm with my friend Bree. You haven't met her yet. Would you like to see? We're doing a podcast right now. You called. Hi. So we have a microphone set up and we're doing a little podcast. I love you. Have so much fun camping. Ooh, Whoppers. Can you brush those teeth, please?
Oh.
Okay.
That a girl.
All right. You're so happy. I love it. Okay. Bye-bye. Love you, bye. Thanks for the call. Bye. That's my best friend in the whole wide world. So I'm glad you got to see that too. Because that relationship, I think we have such a bond, because I had no choice but to, because he was trying to steal my motherhood from me too. Like the joy of my motherhood. I fought like hell for that too. I did. And
you can just see it, and I could watch your eyes actually.
Yeah.
You just melt into her.
Yeah. Totally.
And she was so excited to see you too. Just come say hi.
Yeah.
Love you. What are you doing? That's like your ride or die.
Yeah. Yeah. I fought really hard for that, because she didn't see, thank God, me in my closet. It's not crying. Because I would compartmentalize, Brie. And she'd go to her dad's, and then I'd fall the fuck apart. And we can talk. I'm transparent. We can talk about it all. I don't care.
No.
Yeah.
We're still recording.
Oh.
But we can edit.
No, that could also be a really cool moment.
Because it's her calling.
Oh, this is a really cool moment to have.
I know, and this is what I talk about. Like when I interviewed my friend Megan, like her daughter walked in, and then all these things, and she was like, "Sorry." I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
This is what it is.
But even just that part that I just sat down and was like, I fought really hard for that. Like that was meant to be.
I just got chills. Yeah. I think because I mean she didn't. No, that was like I'm getting chills because I feel like she's supporting you just being your fabulous, amazing self.
Yeah. I do, because that's not even our typical call time. So thank you, Jesus.
No, okay. Just so many, okay. So when you work in a domestic violence shelter, and obviously there's different levels of care and different resources, which in the show notes, I'm going to have you send me all the things that you want me to. So if anyone listening to this right now is going through domestic violence, thinks they might be, has a friend or a sister or a brother, because again, it happens to men too. We don't like to talk about that, but I have a lot to say about that as well. Another time. But the point is that this episode, I can already tell for me, and I know for people listening, there's going to be some aha moments for people to kind of take a look at their relationships and just be like, okay, in my friendships, how do I feel around everybody? Like, right?
Yeah.
And like, if I'm not feeling good, like, let's get curious. What is that about? Is that me? Or is it an external? I don't know. For me, around my friends, I'm feeling good.
Yeah. Because you curated
I don't.
You curated that now.
I curated that.
Because you were now choosing from a conscious place. Or the frequency. I'm big on frequencies, like energy and all that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not your typical, I'm a holy misfit. I believe in energy. And
energy is real. Energy is real. I heard a quote, I can feel you in a room before I can hear you or see you.
Absolutely. I can walk into a room
and
I'm not being arrogant. No. I'm not being arrogant. I can walk into a room and I don't have to speak or say anything. Like, my presence is felt. So, and I think sometimes it's felt over the posts on the internet too. So,
and every time I'm around you, I feel that, and I gravitate towards it because it's real. It's not apologetic.
Yeah.
This is who I am. I'm shining a light. And I think it's a very empowering presence. It's a very, you can sit with us presence. It's not a, hey, where are you at? It's a, hey, where are my people at? Bring it in.
Yes.
It's, you can sit with us.
You can.
Not you can't.
No. Mm-hmm. I'm done with the you can't sit with us crowd. So I had a realization.
Sorry, you know what I'm laughing about.
I know. I've had a realization very recently in a group of women. I realized, like, I'm not the cool girl. I'm the real girl. And I'm totally
cool with that.
Okay with it. Okay, because, like, the cool girl, I think, is more performative. And the real girls, or the real ones, it comes from a place of, like, authenticity. Like, I can't help but to be myself. I can't help but to, whatever. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather be the real girl. And it took me until this decade to figure out, like, I don't need to diminish myself, to make myself small, to not be my full, like, cute, happy, joyful, big present self for somebody else's comfort. Like, if me being all of those things makes you uncomfortable, not my problem. Not my problem. And I'm no longer going to try to make myself fit. I'm a misfit, see? Fully misfit. And I'm sitting in it.
Amen, sister.
I'm sitting in it. Yeah.
But, like, here's the thing, is that I feel like that presence, when I met you, it's a breath of fresh air.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's it's a breath of fresh air. And if you're someone who's kind of, like, hiding or trying to, like, fit the status quo or check the boxes, it's not, it doesn't check boxes. This is my personality.
Yeah. Yep.
And guaranteed some people will not like it.
Absolutely.
But, like,
let's talk about that.
So
for those
of you who don't like it, bye-bye.
Yeah.
No, okay.
So no, I'll be real. Rejection has definitely hurt my heart. I have, since I was a little girl, let's talk about wounds that you have to heal from childhood. Belonging and rejection went hand in hand for me. I could give you a ton of reasons why I think it is. I'm a first generation American. So being from an immigrant family, I could tell you, like, well, maybe that's why I didn't belong. And then, we could go on to elementary school and I can give you reasons why, well, maybe that's why I don't belong or whatever. But, I think what it is just, I was never taught, and this is something we spoke about earlier, is like, I belong to me. And nobody ever told me that you belong to yourself first. So it doesn't matter if I were to give anybody any advice, is learn how to belong to yourself above anything else, because organizations change, your job changes, your spouse can change, your church can change, your friend group definitely changes.
Nope, stays the same all the time.
all of those things, everything, one thing about life is it's going to change. But the thing that doesn't is your relationship to self. So my recommendation is get solid and get real and get all the things you've poured into others and pour it into you. Love you. Date you. Yeah, date you. Yeah. All the things you do, your love languages that you want from other people, everything you're searching from outside there, put it into you. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
That's why I look like I'm going to Paris on a
because every day is
on a Friday.
Paris
Yeah.
when you belong to yourself.
Right.
No, but like, so tell me, was that belonging to yourself? Did you learn that when you were kind of healing from when you had the, like, that's something that you learn and that you practice every day though, right? It's not like I belong to myself, I'm done. It's how do you show yourself that you belong to yourself?
Yeah, healing is not linear. So I can sit here with you today and you can see all this confidence and you can see all of this,
fabulosity.
Right. And be like, she's got it figured out. And there are days that I don't want to get out of bed. And I consider that self-care because it's a recharge day and I don't have it all figured out. So, like even just with this podcast, I told you, like, I'm all these Bree Dog and talk to you guys.
Wait, did you just call me Bree Dog?
No.
Because Bree Dog was my nickname growing up. That's why they said Bree Dog. I was like, okay, sorry. I don't know. You said, I was even telling Bree, oh, you don't have it all together. Yeah. Some days you don't.
So, like, why do you want to podcast me? Like, I feel like I have nothing to offer. But I feel like God, when you feel like you are down to nothing, that's when he's up to something. So I have no idea what's going to be birthed out of this. You know what I mean? The fact that you find me interesting enough to have an episode around is amazing, and I'm honored. But yeah, we'll see.
Well, that she brought up, that was really funny actually. She was like, so I don't really know, like, why I don't really have much, like, and I was like, what? Because in the times that we've hung out, it's so restorative for me, and you're so honest about, like, you have this positive presence, but it's not like, it's the realness.
Yeah.
It's the realness. And that's why I was like, we were having coffee and I was like, damn. I have the moment where I was like, she's got to be on the podcast. I don't know if she knows it yet, but she's going to be on the podcast. And thank you for being open to it, because not everybody wants to sit and talk about the times when they couldn't get out of bed.
Right.
And by the way, we all have them still.
Yeah.
Still, like, where you're just like an issue or those self-defeating thoughts or a relationship or just sort of that anxiety about the world, like whatever. You can't get out of bed sometimes.
Hormones. Hello. Hormones.
Oh, I don't have those.
But I mean, just anything to do with relating to people, Sometimes it'll take you out. It'll spiral you right to the place where you need to heal. So I guess another piece of advice I would give is when those times happen, it's obviously a looking glass inward to, that still needs healing. So I never look at my bad days anymore as like, let's beat myself up. Let's tear myself down because I'm having this I've taken 2 steps back or whatever. I'm laying in this bed. Now it's more like, what needs some healing? What needs some love? What do I need to pour into myself? What does this require? Do I call my therapist? Do I go out with my girlfriends? Do I go to a concert and scream, bloody hell out? Like,
do I take a hot shower? Do I have a good cry?
Do I have a glass of champagne?
Do I, all the things. But here's the cool part about it is that you just said, I don't beat myself up about it. Because then the guilt piled on to whatever you're feeling is not, it's like you're guilty for being human.
Yeah. And we're human. Like, listen, it's going to happen.
There will be a time, despite the work we've done on ourselves, and where maybe I don't want to get out of bed. Even if just because sometimes, right? Yeah. Like you just feel the heaviness of like, what is life? Or sometimes it's just weird.
Life's weird. Be in retrograde.
Totally. Or you have like just an who knows, right? But what's amazing to me is that lately, those days where couldn't get out of bed, and then when I end the day, I'm like, whoa, that ended differently.
Yeah.
And there's been days where it's ended the same, where I'm still in bed and I'm like, oh, that was great. But it's like, this is where I want to bring in the God thing. Not the God thing, God. Love you, God. And again, I'm on a new faith journey, and literally the logo like didn't used to have a cross, and like this is open. I have friends that are Jewish, Muslim, atheist, Mormon, Catholic, Christian, don't really care. For me, I think part of our bonding is just also like there's an energy about your faith that is like very like peaceful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or your faith journey. We've just started talking about it.
Yeah. So it's not going to look like squeaky clean. I kind of almost say like, I've broken up with God a million times. Like I have fights with God. I break up with God. I've walked away from God. I have not had the easiest spiritual journey. And I'll tell you why, is because everything that I was taught was that there would be some rescue, that he would come save me from this abuse or, this situation that's perpetuated for 8 years or whatever, or karma, or you reap what you sow or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And when those things never happen, you get mad.
You're like, where are you at?
Yeah. And I've walked away from my faith, and I think I told you this too, and I'm not afraid to say this out loud.
Sure.
I've graduated from religion. So you just named a bunch of religions.
Sure.
I think I've graduated, maybe there's a better word than graduated, but I feel like I've leveled to a place where like, I am now looking at it as like, we're all connected. And it is not about religion to me. It's about frequency and energy, and we're all connected. And so like, eventually, even if you're still in a church, you'll get to a place where it's like, you start seeing it from a higher perspective.
Sure.
A God perspective. How about that? Christ consciousness. There it is.
Oh,
it's a Christ
beautiful.
Consciousness. Yes. And it has nothing to do with a religion. It's just, yeah.
It's a way of like moving through the world.
And that might make me no friends right there, or
no.
But I'm just saying,
what though? Yeah. And here's the thing. And when you start talking about Christ and the God or whatever personal relationship with spirituality, even sometimes people are like, spiritual. Woo. Like woo woo,
small in California.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, like my bestie in Iowa is like, hey, California, it's the California spirituality. No. But I will say there's something about developing that personal relationship with like this creator who like, I feel a presence.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how to describe it, but like some other people say, and I'm like, I don't even know how to put it into words. Like you're not alone. But nobody's like fixing it right this second.
Yeah.
But someone's like there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. A lot of people refer to the universe. Okay. So let's say that. Okay. So the universe. And then they're like, well, you're excluding God. No. The way that I look at the universe is it's the tangible results of God. So when I go outside and I see the birds, the trees, and you sense that omnipresence, like that.
Yes.
It's like everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It's like, it's a sense.
It's a consciousness.
Yes. So the universe is a tangible manifestation of that presence. So that's why you hear a lot of people talking about the universe. But you can feel that in yourself with the creator, in relationship to the creator. Okay. One of the things that changed my life was meditation, because I learned how to actually listen to God.
That's when you're listening.
Yes, because what I was doing my whole life was like, here's my junk. Change it.
He's like, can I get a word in?
Yeah. Here's my wish list. Why isn't it happening?
And you're like, bring it.
Yeah. Do you have a Nordstrom return policy? Why isn't it Amazon next day?
It's always just saying, this is what I need. Yes. Right? And then.
Yes. And meditation changed my life. Prayer changed my life. Prayer in the idea of listening instead of prayer in the like, this is what I want. Okay. Meditation changed it all. So maybe that sense of peace you feel from me, that restorative stuff you feel from me, is because I'm in connection with that source, God, universe, because of meditation and allowing. Now we're getting real new agey.
Oh. Hey.
I'm just kidding.
No.
Go over some
No, this is good. This is staying.
No, I have no friends. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we know I have a podcast because my guests become my friends. Okay.
Anyway, long story short, meditation is a great tool, and there's guided. So you can search, and you can put in, today I'm feeling like I need peace, forgiveness, which is something I struggle with. Don't think that I have that all figured out. Okay. I'm struggling with whatever, belonging, like anything,
any kind of adversity,
substance abuse, like whatever, put it in there, just type it in and pick it. You'll go back to your body and you'll scroll through and you're like, I sense that that's the one I need to hear.
The one where you go,
yeah,
do that one. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Yep. So good. We're going to need like a part 2, 3, 4 on each. No, but so has helped you become, spirituality is a thread in your life, not necessarily, and it doesn't have to be, again, a certain religion. It's this consciousness, this Christ consciousness, connection with divine.
It doesn't fit in a box, just like me. Fully misfit.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
I do.
I don't, those squares we talked about, the clubs, the organizations, like I'm not meant to.
And that's okay.
I finally have accepted that.
Mm-hmm. And let me tell you this. So you were talking about prayer and meditation, mm-hmm. and you were talking about, do you have any specific, like, because you're just real and like your practical life, do you have any go-tos for like prayers you say, mantras you say, things you do when you're like, oh, I'm needing some connection? Or is it kind of just like I sit and be quiet and then I say what comes out? Or is there certain things you like to do?
So I'm very in tune with myself and obviously self-aware, like my body. So I can like tune in and say, okay, well, today I need, this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
But I think one that's pretty universal and that we could all use is balance. How can I stay balanced? How can I stay it's another word for peace, right? Balance. How can I stay balanced? How can I be the balance? We're always looking for what's going to balance me out there. But again, it's like, well, what's going to create the balance inside here so that I'm like unfuckwithable?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, it's like, so it's like whether it's.
Do they know I cuss on you?
Oh, I do too.
Okay.
It's okay. I cuss too. Would you say that I lost my train of thought there. Shit.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. No. This is just the podcast. It's fine. I'm trying to decide where to go because there's so many things I want to talk about. But I kind of want to dive into, like, you've talked about the spirituality. You've talked about tapping into like what your body feels when you're around people. What do you do? What do you personally do if your body, let's say you're out and about, or you're at a school event, or you're at a social event, or you're at work event, whatever? What is like a way in the moment when you feel off and you're not at home where you can just like go to bed or like be like, I'm going to make my favorite snack or whatever we do, or I'm going to go clean the closet. What do you do in a social situation or when you have that feeling?
Breathing. It's as simple as that. Breathing. You just, some people need to do a count of 10. Some people need to do like the quick breaths. Like they do a count of 4. Like you breathe in for 4, you go out for 4. But sometimes I just do a big and I let my shoulders down. And 9 times out of 10, people don't even hear that sigh or hear that breath or whatever. It's very rare.
Because they're focused on themselves anyway.
And they're in the middle of their own show. They're peacocking.
I've never seen that before.
They're in the middle of their own show.
So like they're not worried about you anyway.
Nope.
They're like,
yeah.
Like I stand on my own show.
Yeah. I've done it in family court. I've done it in many of a social setting where I was feeling, not aligned, yeah, you just breath work.
Breath is your anchor.
Breath is my anchor.
I know. I was gonna. Hey, it was the ring finger. Trust me, you'll know if it's the other one. We'll let you know. We won't mince words. So you have an anchor tattooed there.
Yeah.
And so anchor.
That's another thing. You could put something on your body somewhere that it doesn't have to be a tattoo. Like.
But it can be.
It could be a bracelet. It could be a ring. It's something. If you like to like mess around with something, they have rings that have little like spinners on it. Yeah.
To channel that. Yeah. It's funny you say rings. I have started wearing these 3. I think they're like my knuckles.
Oh yeah,
my knuckles. So
brass
like
knuckles.
Yeah, don't mess with me. Just kidding. I love you. I'm not violent. I feel this one's from South Africa. My mom's great aunt. This one I got in India, and this one's from CVS. Okay. Because CVS, baby. Hey, listen.
Wherever we find these.
Whatever. But I will say, I feel like when I put these on, I feel like I'm putting on not like armor, but almost like it's an anchor for me. I'm like this. It reminds me of Brie. Yeah. So I'm like, Brie is too many rings, and CVS and India and South Africa and
you can
and my grandma and it actually makes me feel.
You can put on something that gives you that makes you feel protected. In certain spaces, I will put on a little evil eye pendant or necklace or bracelet or whatever. That's cultural, but everybody has something that they can put on, they can reach for. But I don't know, for me, the evil eye kind of announces like I'm not taking on any of the negativity, and I rebuke it. So like, and I'm wearing something that's saying like I'm rebuking it, like I'm in your face about it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, and here's the thing, you're very loving, but I also, the strength it means, loving doesn't mean you won't have a boundary against things that are not living.
Kind?
Is that?
Yeah, kind and nice are 2 different things. So I'm kind, but I have boundaries. And I think I lead with the kindness, but then people mistake that for weakness or, and then they test the boundaries and then they're like, oh, well, how did that happen?
You're like, babe, that's been there the whole time, baby.
So what's unfortunate is I lead with my best. And if you don't honor that and you don't respect that and you don't cherish that, then I can take it away just as easily, and then you'll never get that first person again. Unfortunately for you, not me. You taught me who you were, but you had the best of me, and you didn't cherish it. So, yeah. I'm a cute little porcupine. Very cute. With those quills.
They'll get you. No, I'm kidding.
Honey badger? Is that a better
honey badger? No.
They don't do anything. They just roam through the jungle.
They're just like, listen.
Yeah. They just roam through the jungle, and then they're like, oh, cobra? I got you.
Hey.
They'll wrestle a cobra. And we talked about that earlier, too.
Cobras sometimes need to be wrestled.
Well, they messed with the kind little honey badger who's just looking for food. It's just looking to hang out.
But honey badgers will do what a honey badger needs to do.
It's so funny that reference came up, but point is I will lean into the discomfort. So if that means I'm wrestling with the cobra, do I want to? No. But if the cobra's gonna
be a honey badger, just trying to get a snack.
Yeah. But I mean, if the cobra wants to FAFO.
I love that.
But 9 times out of 10, they're going to learn the lesson. Because I saw the cobra. But the cobra didn't see what the honey badger could do. Okay, we can get off this reference now.
And then the giraffe actually came in and was like, yo, I put my neck out for this part. Just kidding.
That was good.
That was good. I'm slowly becoming my father. That's good. But here's the thing. And I want to talk about being kind, but also standing up for what needs to be stood up for and saying what needs to be said.
Mm-hmm.
It's not popular.
It's not.
It ain't popular.
No.
Okay?
No.
But as my bestie in Iowa says, I didn't come here to care about being popular.
No.
I care about
The
people.
cool girls. Remember?
You care about integrity and authenticity. I don't care what you think about my authenticity.
No, not anymore.
We used to.
Used to.
Oh, all the time, all
Used
day.
to. Yeah, used to. Used to.
So what changed? So much. You're like, no.
Acceptance.
Mm.
Acceptance. That I am a misfit. That, you know, not a misfit, like like, well, I am kind of a rebel, but like,
Yeah.
just accepting that. And then being okay with that, like, and honoring that.
Loving you.
Yeah.
Loving.
All the stuff I wanted from them, I started giving to me. And people are saying, like, I notice a difference in your pictures, Sylvie. I notice a difference in you. And I notice.
It's it's a different light shining.
Absolutely. Because I poured into me. Me first. Me first. Yeah. It's such a. Even my heart's expanding right now as I'm saying it. Like, I can feel it.
You
like,
can feel the love for yourself.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I think the realization that I just had is like my inner child is like the little girl inside me that was hurt for so long because of all the spaces, places, and things that just couldn't happen for her. Like, she just cheered for me. She just cheered for me because she was like, finally we're here. You know what I mean? It's fucking empowering. It's fucking epic.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. But again, like, people will see you in the now and think she got it so easy. You know, like, she looks like she's got it all together. But we said earlier, we're like the ducks on the lake. Like, you know, on the outside, we look very graceful.
You should see what it took to get to this right now. We'll show you.
But on the bottom, like, our little feet are going like this. And so, yeah, it's not always graceful. And some of us have had to claw and crawl our way out of, I shared this with you and I'm going to be transparent, out of a closet where I had to go hide and cry because I didn't want my daughter to see, and I had to compartmentalize. Like, that takes strength, right? Like, that takes strength. And I had to get myself out of mental health, slumps. Okay? Like
really debilitating, where it's very hard.
Absolutely.
Where you're like, how the fuck am I going to get up right now?
Yeah. I had postpartum during intimate partner
narcissistic abuse with postpartum.
Yeah. So I know what depression is. I know what anxiety is. Ooh, I know anxiety better than anybody. But you just alchemize it. You alchemize all those things. Yes.
Into you take that energy that was anxiety and you transmute it into something else, into like self-love.
What did I tell somebody the other day? Anxiety is just excitement. So if you could just take it and make it excitement. Yeah. So what are we going to put this excitement into? Right? What are we going to put this excitement into?
Redirecting.
Right. You're redirecting, self-regulating. Yeah. Now, I know it's not easy to say that for all mental health things, okay?
Of course.
I'm just saying in my experience.
Right.
But I'm in my, like, 4th decade, so this isn't something that has happened overnight. And have I always gotten it right? No. Have I hurt people along the way? Yes. Am I perfect in any sort of the word? No. And I'm okay with that.
You don't claim to be.
I don't. And if I owe anybody an apology, please come call me. I'm ready for that healing discussion with anybody.
That's so cool. Because it releases yourself. You're like, hey, it's the looking at your life and like it's like self-development, because that's all we have control over.
That is.
We have no control over anything else.
No, I've tried.
I know, we've investigated. Apparently, announcement, we don't have control. We just found out this morning that we don't have control.
But look how, like, well, we were able to just say, okay, we don't have control, but we're going to make it work. And if you take a picture and add it, you'll see how we made it
You'll
work.
see the setup. It's very professional.
And that's just how I go through life now.
It's like you just know that you're the project that, like that quote, like, you're the best project you'll ever work on, right? and it's a constant, right?
It's forever.
It's constant, but like feels like from you there's this underlying like foundation of self-love that like might not have been there before.
Correct.
And there wasn't for me either.
Right.
And then now
Worthiness.
dude,
Yep.
now that I have it, I wake up, not every day, but a lot of days where I'm like, I like myself.
Mm-hmm.
Is that weird? Like, it's almost like I like my own company.
Yeah, me too.
I like
Me too. Maybe
listening to worship music in the car. I'm like, yeah. No, well, you know, the Holy Spirit comes in, but I'm like, wow, I'm okay driving around and I'm fun.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm fun. So.
Oh, you're like, I'm amazing. No. But
I don't know
it's enjoying your own company, but because you've poured into yourself, so then it's that younger Brie who loves to be chit-chatting
right.
Or the younger Sylvie who's like, yes, it's whatever your younger you wanted. When you see yourself doing some of it, you're like, we are cool.
She just wanted to belong. She just wanted to be invited. And I'll tell you, I read something the other day that said being included is intimacy. And so I think my little self just wanted to be there. I don't need your spot. I don't need whatever you were threatened by that you felt like you needed to exclude me, leave me out, mean girl me, dynamics, pit people against me, all of that throughout many groups at work, everywhere.
Ever.
Whatever about me created that for you, I don't know, because my little heart, my little girl just wanted to belong. She just wanted to be invited. Okay? I don't know if it's because I had a smelly lunch, because you guys had bologna and I had linguiça in my lunch. I don't know. But hey, like I said, I could come up with a million reasons why. But at the end of the day, thank you. Okay, this is important for me to say. Thank you for all of the people that rejected me, left me out, kicked me while I was down, whatever. Because I want to tell you sincerely, thank you, because like you taught me how to self-love, right? Because I had to pour into me everything that I wanted from other people. So, and you thought you were kicking me down or holding me back, but really, like, I was building the odds were stacked against me in so many ways, in so many spaces, but I made stairs out of those like odds being stacked against me. So each step I've taken has led me to this leveling up of love for myself. So thank you. Like, seriously, I'm not being an asshole.
No.
Like, yeah. But 10 times more than that, thank you for the people that have seen me from the beginning. Like you.
Oh.
You saw my heart right from the beginning. Like, do you know how special it is that, like, somebody can see you on site and be like, that person. Like, you know what I mean? I want to include that person. I like that person. Like, all of that. Like, thank you. Like, my heart screams, because that is special. That is special. Yep.
Their rejection or whatever that was, or insecurity, ultimately led to like this deep self-love that is way more fulfilling than anything that they could give you anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because people change. Organizations
they do?
They do. Friendships change.
What?
Yeah, everything changes. So you might as well get right here.
You're the constant in all those. Absolutely. You're the only one who's with you. So I'll quote, like, you're the only one who's been with you the entire, every moment of every day.
Absolutely. Yep. And your children grow up and leave.
Yeah.
So
your parents, they might be around or not around, right. But you're the only one. Even your besties, they can't be with you all the time.
No, and you shouldn't expect that from them.
No.
Because, again, that's a lot to ask of another human being living their own life with their own families. And, like, that's what I'm saying, like, boundaries.
Boundaries when somebody's like,
I must have all
you're
of
like,
your attention.
Red flag.
And time.
Red flag.
Yeah.
But if you're unhealed, you're like, oh, I'm so special. And you learn that that's not good.
Yeah.
But no, it's just the theme that keeps coming up is like self-love.
Yep.
Self-love and the laughing and smiling in the places that broke you.
Yep. So 2025, if I may, they talk about in the Bible a lot, like claiming your territory, and I never really understood what that meant.
Yeah.
And something broke inside me, like broke wide open in the best way. Like I hit 2025 and I was like, I'm claiming my territory. I'm claiming it. Like I pictured myself stake in the ground,
like with like a peloton.
Yeah. like think like Princess Warrior, Xena,
Princess Bride vibes.
Yeah,
Princess Bride.
Whatever. And the word that I like literally stuck in the ground was joy. I'm claiming my joy. Okay. And because so many people have tried to take your joy from you in so many spaces for whatever reason. And I said, I'm claiming my joy. So what started happening is this oddity of laughing in the spaces that I used to cry. So I've been put in places that used to take me out, like spiral me, ruminate, cry, whatever. One of those was a family court situation this year where all of the bait was there for me to go down the old route. But instead, I did one of the things where I said I breathed and I felt my shoulders go back and I said, I'm the balance. And then a smirk creeped up on my face while the theatrics were going on because there was much showmanship happening and scene.
And
so yeah. And oh my gosh, when the smirk came up on my face, I was like, well, that's odd. And I literally left there and I was like, I laughed in the places or in a place that would normally crumble me. Family court's a huge deal, okay? Like you literally cannot work with your co-parent and you have to have a judge decide how you guys live your life. That's so insane to me. But so that can be a very big, like, humbling experience, right? So to smirk there, it was like, oh, this doesn't have any more power over me. Now this is like, it's a business. I'm going to go in and negotiate the terms that I want on this contract. And then the other side does the negotiation of what. So then it became, there was no emotional connection. The cord was cut. Then in another instance of a social setting, I was invited to, and Regina George, Mean Girl dynamics, whatever.
See the movie Mean Girls if you haven't already.
Yeah, it still happened. Yeah, and like again, the theatrics, all of that.
Sixth grade playground.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was just observing and I remember leaving and like laughing out loud. And I was like, wow, like I'm laughing again in a space that used to make me cry. And then finally, recently, like the narcissist and I crossed paths. And when they thought that nobody was looking, they did the narcissistic glare. Look that up. It's a thing.
It's definitely a thing.
Yeah. It's on all the serial killers. That's not a joke, but it is.
There's a look.
There's
a
look.
Weird look.
It's a glare, and it's bone chilling. So it's interesting that when nobody was watching, because it was a public area, that I got that glare, and I spontaneously, literally, immediately just laughed, and it was like a laugh. It wasn't a smirk this time.
Like a
yeah, and it lasted until like I hit the stoplight. Like it was a good 30 seconds of laughing, and all I can say is like that look would have made me feel it's about power and control and intimidation and whatever, and to laugh in the face of that is
it's like the best, most empowering,
especially when it's spontaneous. It's not forced
because it's your body. Yeah. Your body was like, yo, yeah. Sylvie, we're good.
Yeah. it's like combusting, like it's taking, yeah. So my body is like rejecting it, but not only rejecting it, but laughing at it because it's so, what's
Ridiculous?
it's ridiculous.
Preposterous?
Yes.
Like,
Is this real life for you? Like, you know what I mean?
because it's like a child. You're dealing with a,
Yes.
it's just,
Yeah.
it's, but how cool. Because when you're crying in that place, I'm sure you weren't imagining, oh, someday I'm going to be laughing
Absolutely.
about that same look.
Absolutely.
You don't think that's ever possible.
No.
When you feel that stare, you're like, I'm screwed. I'm never going to be able to get, and then
No.
pour into yourself.
Yep. Yeah, because once you find your balance,
No
like,
one can fuck with you.
I mean, this might, you know, I prayed for protection because
Sure.
like sometimes talking about things like will invite somebody to be like, well, I think I can mess with her or whatever. But like, you know, I am highly favored and anointed. So, and with that comes a supernatural protection. So, you know, what's the Bible verse like? The weapons may form, but they won't prosper. So it doesn't say that the weapons aren't going to form.
Of course. Like any light will be attacked.
Yeah.
Right?
But they won't prosper.
They won't.
So the strength that I have found in that has been, because it's been proven. It's been proven. So, yeah.
And the cool part is that we all have this like divine connection to tap into that strength. It's not,
this isn't just
this is all like,
yeah.
You like you had said before, we're like a vessel for that strength.
If you choose to be a vessel, it's free will, it's a choice. If you choose to be a vessel for goodness, for, you know, heart-led life, for integrity, but you have to be those things.
You got to walk the walk.
Yeah. Because God will call bullshit. God will call bullshit. And if you are operating out of a spirit of, you know, divisiveness, you know, just all of those things, like,
yeah,
you reap what you, like, you really reap what you sow. And it will come around. It always does.
It
Like, the bill is always, it always comes due. Just ask PG&E. The bill always comes due.
And you might think they lost your address, but it's coming. Oh, it's coming, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's up to you. So like, if I were to end I don't know if you want to end.
No, but let's put a bow on part 1.
Yeah, like,
because I'm sure I would love to have you back to talk about.
Yeah, it's
more of life.
You have the same choice. Like, you know, do you want to be a vessel? And do you want to create a new way of life, you know, for ourselves, our children, the next generation? Like, what are we planting? What are we planting? Are we still planting the old stories? Like, where's that? Like, no.
Yeah.
Let's plant the new stories. Let's create something beautiful. Let's leave a legacy of like, of authenticity and kindness, but, you know,
and kindness that will call out things that need to be called out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In the interest of everybody, in the interest of what life should be, which is not toxic.
Yeah, let's create a legacy of healing. Let's heal each other. How about that?
Because we all are healing from something.
Yes.
Every single person.
Just create safe spaces for people
to just be, so they don't have to be posturing and do all this bullshit.
Create safe spaces. Yeah. Maybe
and that's what you are.
Maybe that's what I should coach on. Creating safe spaces.
You are a safe space. I feel like your energy disrupts unsafe spaces.
It does.
Ooh.
I am a disruptor. That's the other thing.
You're a disruptor of toxicity and unsafe. But it's and the people that are craving the peace and the authenticity kind of rest in it.
Yep.
And the people that don't want that are like, ooh, what's this realness all about?
Yeah.
You can't hide in it. You can't manipulate it. No. You can't manipulate your energy.
They'll probably talk bad about me, but like,
oh, it's okay.
You gotta worry, or you gotta question a person that talks poorly about another person, because like, that's coming from the heart. So out of the mouth comes the heart. And so if somebody is constantly speaking ill or taking people down with their words, you're seeing their heart. You know what I mean? So if you're ever in a situation where somebody's triangulating or
triangulating,
smear campaigning, or, just constantly being ill, and this is without facts, because there are people who do bad things, and we do talk about it, and there's factual information or whatever. But we're just talking about somebody who's just going around to just
tearing people
down. Yeah, like
misery loves company.
Yeah, but no, go heal.
Go heal.
Go heal.
Go heal.
My prayer for you is that you get the healing that you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because then what they talk about in like the Bible too, like seeing with a new set. It's almost like seeing when you start to like, I'm in the point where I'm like, I want to work on myself so much that I do know if I'm talking bad, like from like venting at somebody or whatever,
and we're human.
That's I don't feel great.
Right.
When I'm like, I'm like, well, what about you, girl? What you got going on in here? Like, there's so much for me to work on.
How do we feel in our body when, not just how we feel around other people, but how do we feel in our body? Like, your body will tell you when you're not living up to your integrity or your authenticity. You will feel misaligned in the things that you're doing.
Like, if I'm going down a rabbit hole of like talking about drama or something, I'm almost like, what are you doing right now? While you're doing it, you're like, stop. What? And then I'm like, so what can we do? What have we learned? Like, I'm able to pull myself out faster, but it still happens where I'm like, ooh, getting negative. Right?
Well, I think as humans, we come from a couple different places: ego and wound, right? So the ego, like I have ego, we all have ego. Yeah. And sometimes I will respond out of ego. But if I could just take a step back from my responses, like, and realize, am I responding out of an ego? Am I responding out of my wound? Because sometimes I will respond out of a wound, right?
Directly.
Because sometimes a dynamic will happen that will look like a pattern, but it might not even be. But because my wound, it looks like that pattern. So if you step back and take into account, like, filter yourself. Is this ego? Is this my wounding? If you can then filter through those, then you'll get the real answer, like, of what you're supposed to respond like. Yeah. But we can't all do that in the moment. So it comes with time.
It does.
Yep. And sometimes it comes with an apology. Like, hey, I'm sorry. I said that out of ego.
And you know what? An apology, when I apologize sincerely, I'm proud of myself. Like, it's a good thing to do because it's like, hey, listen.
The body's in integrity. Yeah. It's in alignment.
Yeah. It's like, hey, it's almost admitting your humanity. Hey, even though, we're on this growth path and, podcast and like all this, we're in this space. Like, it doesn't mean some days we're like, oh yeah. Like, oh, sorry, I was an asshole.
The garbage disposal comes up.
Oh yeah. And you're like, whoa. You're like, hey, thought that was all cast out. Thought I rebuked that. No. Apparently didn't.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's leave a legacy of healing.
Let's leave a legacy of Sylvie.
Oh.
Because that was,
it's a big one.
No, I always kind of try to wrap up with like how I'm feeling about this connection. And I think anyone listening to this, whether they're in their car, doing a power clean, walking, whatever, I think they're going to feel your realness. They're going to feel that there's like this beauty on the other side of like committing to like a self-love.
Yes.
You're not done. No. Like when we leave and I leave and you finally get a minute without me like babbling in your face,
no, I love
you're going to be like, and then start pouring into yourself again.
Yes.
Right? Like it's constant.
I did it for 2 days before this podcast. I wanted to make sure that I came from a place of integrity and authenticity. And so I kind of isolated on purpose so that I wasn't affected by outside influences or whatnot. And I meditated a lot and I prayed that it was Holy Spirit led. Yep. Is it going to be perfection? No. But I think he designed me that way because I'm for the holy misfit. I'm for the misfit. You don't even have to be holy. I'm just the misfit.
You don't have to be anything.
I don't even know if I'm holy. Misfits.
But I feel like you are the spirit of what I want this podcast to be about, which is taking adversity, turning it into an adventure, and knowing that adventure will not be linear.
That is correct.
But it will be filled with, and from what we're talking about, I feel like when you go on that adventure armed with like self-love, authenticity, great therapist, good friends, birds, fresh air.
So the reason why she says birds is because once you start attuning to alignment, like your frequency, the energy, like you'll start noticing things like the universe, God, tangible things will start happening to you. So like, I kind of joke sometimes, I'm like, I feel like a Disney princess because birds will just like come near me. Like a hummingbird will just like be right here and it'll hover for a while. Remember that one day I told her I like saw in one day just sitting outside in my front yard, 8 doves all together.
Don't get me started about doves.
A blue jay, a hummingbird, I think a crane, right? I sent you a picture of a crane. Like, and I was like, okay, like, I don't know what messages you're trying to send to me, but like, yeah, I mean,
getting it.
Yeah, you're attuning to the frequency of the
bird song in our bodies, and it's amazing.
And the universe is God.
It is it all, and we all have it within us. Like we all have this spirit within us that like when we let it come out, it comes out, but like through the unique expression of you.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, because we all have a very unique expression.
I'm pretty square, so I think we are learning to love our unique expressions.
I'm accepting it finally.
Yeah.
And what's exciting is what's it going to bring? Because what are we attracting now? We saw what we attracted from a wounded place.
Oh,
I'm so excited to see what we attract from a healing place. And you don't have to be completely healed.
No.
You just have to be in the right frequency.
You just have to be on the healing path. Even if you're at like the first step of 9 bajillion, then once you get on, it's...
But the old pattern will still come back to test.
Oh.
It does.
Stronger.
But you have to have discernment. Okay, now we're just...
Okay. Part 2, we talk about everything that will blow your mind.
Oh my God. Thank you. This is awesome.
Thank you. We are wrapping up Adventures in Adversity, episode 41. Sylvie, thank you so much. And my prayers have been answered.
Aww.
And I just can't wait to publish this and turn it into clips that when someone's scrolling and going through something, they're going to go, wait a second. I'm going to do this.
Yes.
Because that lady is a badass and she did it.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
I'm still doing it.
All right.
Still
signing off. Every day, all day.
Signing off. Stay anchored.
Stay anchored. Oh, shit. That was a real one. Shit.
That's okay.
I'm already marking this explicit anyway because we say fuck, so it's fine.
Hey, that clears the throat chakra.
That was actually really good.
It was. Opera.
Oh, I've never sang like that in my life. Sign off. One last fuck to sign off. And scene. Bye.